What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to game number 6 in this affectionately labelled Best of 11 series between TyRanT BacT and Lix. In the previous game, we saw in the Mongols' war on Arabia, we saw that BacT pushed forward with a lot of aggression and managed to take that game quite comfortably and quite convincingly. And here we are in game 6 with a Mayan war, a Mesoamerican Mayan mirror civilization matchup in which Lix is going to try and pull one back and get some revenge on the push that he was just under pressure from. So let's take Fog of War off. Let's introduce the players. And let's have a look at their maps, and I guess we'll go back over their civilizations as well. So down here to the south of the map, playing in the blue, we do have Lix playing in the blue trunks as the Mayans, and his opponent today up to the north of the map, pretty much the polar opposite edge of the map. If you were to draw a mirror line across the center of it, that is where you would find his opponent, who is today playing in the red, TyRanT BacT, or BacT again, however you would like to pronounce his name, also playing as the Mayans. So here we have it, a Mayan mirror matchup on Arabia. Now, Mayans are fantastic, fantastic civilization. Arguably one of the best Arabia civilizations that you can pick, and it's only going to be made better by the fact that BacT here has what I would say is a fantastic map. The only thing I don't like about his map is this front main gold of his. That's going to be a little bit nasty if he does get pushed off this main gold here and does lose map control. He's not going to be able to take his main gold as nicely and comfortably as he would like. But in saying that, he does have another gold out here to the left-hand side of his base, albeit it is on a hill, but it is a lot safer than his front main gold, especially when we consider how easily even BacT can wall his map up. We can see out here to the left just some buildings or some palisades, houses, what have you, across this section here. Wall to the cliff, wall to the map, this left-hand side of his base, nice and comfortable and snug and safe, and he's going to be able to take this gold here quite comfortably and safely as well. And he hasn't managed to grab that sheep back that Lix was trying to lame off him, probably to pay him back for the previous matchup in which he stole 2 of his sheep and lost a boar out to a lame from BacT as well. Still a bit of a scuffle with the Eagle Warriors over here on the left-hand side of the base. BacT is going to be winning that fight though, so Lix is wanting to get the heck out of dodge and pull his Eagle Warrior back to his side of the map. Continuing to look at BacT's map, what else can we see? Well, we can see out here on the right-hand side, he does have 2 stones, I guess you could say, sort of in the back of his base or even side of his base, but they're still fine because, again, his map is so easy and so nice to wall that he can just plonk a palisade across there, palisade up there, or even palisade across here and there, and he's going to be in such a good position. His map is going to be looking so good in terms of every other resource that he could possibly want. He's got a nice, safe, well, relatively safe wood here to the front of his base, but he can also hightail it back here and take any one of these nice big lumber lines as well, especially once he walls himself in. He's going to be in such a nice position. It already looks like that's what he's doing, going for a bit of a cheeky wall off across the front of his base, and I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw BacT not even going for a drush. Normally with the Mayans or Mesoamerican civilizations, the Aztecs or Mayans, we normally see a drush fast castle. In fact, he also managing to pick up with 1 HP, pick up the Eagle Warrior there from Lix, but normally we see a Drush Fast Castle or Drush Flush or something along those lines, but it wouldn't surprise me if BacT just completely walls up his map, obviously realizing how nice his map actually is. He hasn't done quite enough scouting out here to the left-hand side, or even the right actually, but he knows that he can wall up there, and maybe suspects that he can easily wall off to the cliff, from the cliff to the edge of the map there. So again, wouldn't surprise me if we just see him go for a straight naked fast castle. Well, not naked because he will wall, but just a straight fast castle would not surprise me in the slightest. Looking over at Lix's map, and his map is almost the complete opposite to BacT's in that respect. Whereas BacT's was quite nice and flat, apart from the hills out to the left-hand side of his base, where one of his secondary golds were. Lix is sitting at the bottom of a crater pretty much all the way around his base. He does have nice back resources, so he's got a nice close deer patch here. Back gold, back stone, back berries, back wood, literally everything in the back. So he's going to be pretty happy in that respect. But it did looks like he managed to lame a couple of sheep off of BacT here, owing to the fact that he does have quite a few sheep, or more sheep than I would have imagined left over, and a barracks being plonked up at the front of his base as well. So he's going to be going for the drush that we normally see or would expect to see from the Mayans. I don't think BacT stole a boar off of Lix, but I could be wrong. I don't think I saw any boar steals going on, but in saying that, I can't actually see Lix's second boar, so maybe I was wrong. Maybe that would explain why BacT's Eagle Warrior had such little HP to begin with when they were when the two Eagle Warriors were having a bit of a scuffle at the start of the game, but I could be wrong again. But in any case, we're going to see a drush coming in here from Lix, and as this drush moves out across the map, he's either going to run into this wolf here, or he's going to find that his opponent is all but completely walled up, and he's not going to be able to get in and do any real damage to BacT's economy. So BacT again is going to be in such a nice position for the early stages of this game. Lix also does have a stone toward the front of his base here, sitting on a hill, which is a little bit unfortunate for him. Obviously, as the Mayans, they are going to be wanting to get out plumed archers from castles as soon as they can, once they get into the castle or late castle age, or even mid to late castle age and beyond. BacT splitting his lumber line to the back of his base here and pushing in deer as well. A bit of a pause apparently seems to have come in from these two players. BacT pushing in the deer, like I said, so it almost looks like nothing is going on from BacT at the moment, except a lot of walling. I'm not quite sure why he didn't decide to wall up the back here. I'm not really sure. Either way, the drush pushing out across the map, and the drush from Lix is not going to get in here. Looks like BacT is going to be in a completely and utterly safe position here. To be able to defend against this, drush from Lix, and Lix now recognizes the situation, and all he can do is just try and create a little bit of idle time with these on the villagers from BacT, battering against the wall here, battering against the wall there, and causing BacT to have to repair or build behind his walls. BacT up to the feudal age now, clicking up on 27 population, which is indicative of just a normal fast castle, and he hasn't put up a barracks. He's put up absolutely nothing. You can see he's going to be in a really nice position to be able to click up to the castle age almost immediately once it gets into the feudal age, and this is so cheeky. He's utilizing the absolute beauty of his map to its full advantage at the moment, and just going for a straight fast castle, pushing in the deer, walling himself in, and also moving out to stone here. So it looks like he's going to be in a good position to either get up extra town centres in the castle age, or more than likely put up a castle and start pumping out plumes to start pressuring his opponent. Lix now up to the castle age as well, walling up, the feudal age even, walling up a little bit at home. It's not going to be the nicest or the easiest wall in the world for him, but, you know, if he wants to do it, he'll find a way to do it, and indeed he is finding a way to do it, walling across the front of his base here at the top of his hill, keeping that nice and safe. And his BacT, yeah, BacT's going to get to this palisade wall in time to build up behind it. What's he doing? He's throwing down a blacksmith. Will we be seeing a market from him? Yes, we will. We're seeing a market out here on the left hand side of his base, so he's going to be in a really nice position to be able to click up to the castle age in a very nice time indeed, with a couple of extra villagers coming out of his town center now. And he's doing pretty much Lix, that is doing everything that you would expect and want a drush to do, which is pretty much to keep your opponent's economy idle somewhat, by keeping this villager here idle to wall up behind his to either repair the palisades that are being battered away by Lix's militia, or building behind it. But still, BacT is going to be up to the castle age in any minute now. He's going to be clicking up with how much population? 29 population? 30 population? He's 150 food away. Maybe he might have to do some market magic here. Not entirely sure. Either way, he's going to be up to the castle age very soon, whereas Lix is also going to be following suit, it would seem. A nice drush fast castle coming in from Lix, with an archery range and a blacksmith being thrown up back at home. BacT now scouts that out, so he knows exactly what his opponent is going to be doing. It's not double archery range, which would indicate a drush flush build, and obviously his uptime is too late to indicate that as well. So he's going to be going for a drush fast castle, and normally you wouldn't go for a drush fast castle unless you had managed to wall yourself off completely, but if your opponent is doing it, which Lix is very certain that BacT is doing, then you are pretty safe in doing it yourself. And Lick's actually coming forward and putting a watchtower behind this wood line here of BacT. Let's see if BacT is going to be able to spot this out. No, he is not going to be able to spot it out, and I can imagine that the watchtower will be able to hit this lumber line here from BacT, who is now stonewalling up pretty much the whole part of his base as well. He doesn't want to have to keep coming in here and rebuilding or repairing behind his palisade walls, putting some stone walls up. Obviously, Mayan's getting much cheaper walls than other civilizations. That's going to be a very viable strategy for BacT to do. A couple of villages out here over on the gold that BacT has now spotted, so again solidifying the fact, or the assumption that Lix is just going to be doing a Drush Fast Castle, maybe followed up with some crossbows coming out of the 2 ranges that Lix has now put up. I don't think BacT has actually spotted that. No, he knows that 1 range is there, but Lix now moving out to stone as well. So again, both of these Mayan players here wanting to get up a castle as soon as possible, and the watchtower comes up from Lix on the wood line of BacT, and it is going to be able to hit this wood line here, forcing BacT to relocate back to the back of his base. But it's not going to be too detrimental for BacT. He should be fine, especially owing to the fact that he, again, already had a backward line here that he had already set up a lumber camp at, but he is going to be in the castle age soon anyway, so town centers, extra town centers are going to be coming up, I would imagine. But it looks like Lix is going to be forced to do one of two things here. Lix is going to be forced to either try and sit back and outboom BacT as well, or he's going to be forced to come forward with forward siege workshops and really start putting the pressure on BacT. So it's going to be interesting to see which way this goes. I would almost assume with Fletching coming in that Lix is going to be taking the latter of those 2 options and coming forward with a siege workshop, maybe on top of this hill here where this villager is buzzing around at the moment and trying to push into BacT's economy. And let's see what Lix is going to be doing at the front here. What do we have? A forward siege workshop on top of this hill, just as predicted. Crossbow coming in now as well. For Lix, I imagine Bodkin Arrow would maybe be on the cards for him as well. Now BacT, has he been throwing up any extra town centers anywhere? I would be tempted to say that he would be, but I could also be completely wrong. No, instead he's throwing up a castle. So he's just going to try and zone or take back this main gold at the front of his base, putting up a defensive castle here at the pretty much right at the mouth of his economy. +2 attack still not having been done for Lix, but BacT lacking just a little bit of stone to throw up an extra town center. Now he can do it. So really nice build here from BacT, being able to throw up a defensive castle inside of his base and also having the resources to be able to throw up another town center, which he is doing out here on the left hand side of his base at the top of this hill, offering a little bit more protection to this gold, and also a potential lumber line out here to the left hand side as well. Back at home, Lix is doing exactly what BacT is, and walling up, just trying to keep himself nice and safe with horse collar and bowsaw. A nice few economic upgrades kicking in for Lix now as well, and I can't see any extra town centers owing to the fact from Lix, that is, owing to the fact that he is starting to put forward a lot of aggression on BacT with a mangonel on top of a hill, now starting to fire upon these stone walls from BacT. We will find that Lix is probably going to be able to punch his way into BacT's economy pretty quick smart here. But obviously BacT, Plumed Arch is now coming out, Fletching having been done, in a defensive siege workshop of his own. So again, it's going to come down to micro, it's going to come down to the ability of these 2 players here to multitask and try and get themselves, get their economies rolling as well. At the moment, we can see the villager lead is ever so slightly in favor of BacT here, owing to the fact that he does have an extra town center up over Lix, obviously, because Lix is putting his sinking quite a few resources into this forward aggression with the forward siege workshop and the monastery at the front of his base as well. Some plumed archers, +1 attack fletching, that is only having been done on these guys, pushing out across the map from BacT here, seeing what damage he can maybe do to his opponent, see if he can cause any idle time or disruption to the economy of Lix. But he's going to find that Lix is pretty much nice and safely walled. I don't think there's any holes here. Nope, it does not look like there's any holes here, but if Lix does not pull this villager back, she's going to go down pretty easily to 4 plumed archers firing upon her. A few more volleys, and no, she's going to get out of there alive. Wow, I did not expect that. I would have thought that this villager would be going downtown, but nope, she's going to be nice and safe. She's going to be nice and safe as she gets away. But here we go. Lick's trying to push in with the aggression here now against BacT's economy. But BacT defending really, really nicely with a couple of plumed archers here and a mangonel defense as well. It looks like BacT is going to be in a fine position to be able to push this back. Push this forward aggression back from Licks, as well as keeping his plumed archers out across the map. And this is the great thing that BacT is doing as well, 1-for-1 trade here on the mangonels. Normally when you wall yourself in and you wall yourself into your economy, you sort of negate map control and you sort of give map control to your opponent. Really, really nice attack round there from Licks. The plumed archers here from BacT still managing to get out alive, but a nice attack round there from Licks, that is. But normally when you wall yourself in like this, you do sort of give map control to your opponent. But BacT having a couple of plumed archers chilling around or buzzing around on the map means that he is keeping himself nice and safe in terms of his economy behind stone walls, and he is also managing to try and battle it out, or at least challenge the map control against Licks. But Licks could get a nice attack ground on these. No, not again, says BacT. BacT getting out of there completely unscathed from that little encounter with the mangonels. But I don't think BacT is going to be able to out micro two mangonels here, as well as some crossbows buzzing around. Bodkin Arrow will help him out though. Bodkin Arrow now coming in for BacT. Just a lone militia up there to the north of the map. Bodkin Arrow and the hill advantage here could be in a really nice position for BacT. Licks with a nice attack ground there as well. And BacT with almost a superfluous split move or flank maneuver there coming in. But that's okay. If relics are now coming in for Licks as well, so he's going to be in a nice position in terms of taking the relic advantage, which means, as the longer this game goes, the better position Licks is going to be in terms of the relic and gold income. Castle coming up in a really, really nice position for Licks, in my opinion, trying to give himself a little bit of map control and take control of this hill out the front of his base, which would be a really, really nice staging point for BacT should BacT have managed to be able to lock this down. But Licks getting this map control out here to the front of his base is going to be such a nice defensive. It's going to offer such a nice defensive stature for him. Obviously, BacT with an attack deficit pushing up that hill, and that was absolutely huge. Just like that, BacT, these crossbows, these plumed archers, that is, offer absolutely nothing to BacT's economy, to BacT's army now. The fantastic double mangonel shot there on all the army of BacT, and it looks like BacT is responding with a mangonel of his own, and a second castle coming up here to the left-hand side of his economy as well. So it looks like BacT once again is going to be nice and safe behind his walls, and as well as that, he's got two castles that is keeping himself nice and safe at the front and left or western flank of his economy. Does he actually know that this castle is coming up? No, he does not know that this castle is coming up. He's about to spot it out though, and looks like Licks is going for the plumed archers. Interesting choice. I suppose with this castle coming up here, the castle can take care of the mangonel quite easily, but BacT's Mango Tango micro very much on point there over Licks's, who is now just clicked up to the Imperial Age as well. Oh my goodness, what a game this is turning out to be. The castle nearly up on the western flank of BacT's economy. BacT no way near the castle, the Imperial Age at the moment, although he could buy his way up. Obviously the Mayans such a cheap civilization, and we do have the siege workshop out here on the left hand side of Licks under fire, but no sneaky mangonel popping out of that anytime soon to get a huge shot, a bada boom shot out here on these plumed archers that we can see. So Licks up to the Imperial Age and one castle already up. Is he anywhere near putting another castle up? Well, no, he is not, but he has moved villagers out to stone at the back of his base. He's now up on 2 town centers, whereas BacT, I believe, is also still up on 2 town centers. I can't see any extra ones for him. He is giving his villagers a nice workout here, though, to the back of his base with the lumberjacks there. So it's always nice to see a nice split move here, but a nice attack ground from Licks as well. So Licks is arguably taking the worst trade in that engagement, only grabbing one plumed archer and losing a mangonel in the process. Another siege workshop coming up for Licks at the front of his base as Bodkin Arrow comes in as well, and the Imperial Age upgrade for BacT having been clicked. He'll be up about a minute and a half after his opponent here, so Licks has a minute and a half to try and utilize his technological advantage before BacT levels that up and also starts to pull ahead even further, maybe in terms of economy, owing to the fact that he does have an extra 13 villages over his opponent here. Another town centre coming up to the right-hand side of BacT's economy, so that villager lead is just going to start to snowball and get bigger and bigger and bigger in favor of BacT. And we can see that in the economies. We can just look at the economy here from Lix. It just does not look as bustling and as busy as BacT's does here at all. Out here on the left-hand side of the map, rather, we do have an oh my goodness gracious, Lix with a huge butter boom, and another one as well. Lix's mangonel shots in this game have just been so pivotal to being able to try and defend and attack against his opponent BacT, with another castle coming up here to the front of his base as well. I imagine we'll be seeing some trebs. No trebs, just for the moment. We see Bracer coming in for Lix. I suppose his economy is a little bit weak at the moment. Definitely doesn't have the resources to do much more or many more upgrades than Bracer for the time being, buying 100 food, but it looks like he will be losing the siege workshop. Unless Lix is gonna... No, okay, that siege workshop having gone down out there to the left-hand side of the map there. So I mean, Lix, yeah, it was a nice push. It was a nice thought that he could maybe do a bit of, or make a bit of aggression, and put BacT under pressure out here on the left-hand side. But it didn't really amount to much, unfortunately, for Lix. And now the monastery under fire from 2 battering rams from BacT as well. But Lix should be able to clean that up with his mangonel quite comfortably. And BacT now pushing out and grabbing control of his main gold. We can see this gold out here to the western side of his base was getting a little bit crowded, but BacT might be able to take a nice fight here and maybe deny this forward castle coming up from Lix. But Lix finally getting a trebuchet out and a nice mangonel shot again, or quite a few weak plumed archers in this mixture here as Bracer starts kicking in now as well for BacT. So these guys are going to be completely even on upgrades once Bracer comes in for BacT. This castle is going to go up quite easily and quite comfortably for Lix. And Lix all of a sudden is looking like he's in a good position as he takes the score lead. Oh, the scores are flitting back and forth and back and forth. The trebuchet now starting to unpack and fire upon this castle from BacT, as a trebuchet also does come out from the 2 castles of BacT. So it's going to be 2 trebuchets to 1 trebuchet here, as a treb ward does come in now as well. BacT does not want to be sending this mangonel in to fight here underneath this castle. It's going to get taken down quick smart by the castle fire just like that. Again, even on upgrades we have for these for the plumed archers here in terms of the attack, and no defense upgrade actually for BacT at the moment. So it looks like in a straight up fight, in a 1-to-1 fight, Lix is going to come off better, or going to come out better off in favor of the fight's going to go in favor of Lix. But Lix here now having 3 trebuchets out. Oh my goodness, Lix is starting to pump the trebs out, whereas BacT has only got 2 trebs out, with 1 more on the way as he moves out to the left-hand side of his base here to try and take control. A very, very flimsy control with only villagers looking over it out there to the left-hand side of his base. But he is managing to grab control of that gold, seeing as though he's been pushed off his main gold at the front of his base. But it's 3 trebuchets, 1 of which are being repaired incessantly, absolutely hurriedly by the villagers here from Lix, and Lix manages to take down a castle of BacT, and BacT obviously his economy is in such a good position that he can throw up another castle straight away. But still, Lix is going to be absolutely huge. He's got double the amount of castles, 2 to 1. Granted, but still double the amount of castles that BacT has here, and BacT pushing out to the left-hand side of his base, again trying to grab control of that gold. BacT losing 1 trebuchet there a little bit carelessly, now moves villagers over, that is, to try and start repairing it. But that castle, that trebuchet is going to go down as well, because there's a mangonel firing upon it now. This castle here is going to be under fire from, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trebuchets that are going to come under fire, or that are going to start whittling away at this castle. BacT is in a very, very dire and precarious situation. Another town centre coming out here to the left-hand side of BacT's economy, trying to provide a little bit of protection, a little bit of support out here to that main goal that at the moment is BacT's only lifeline. He doesn't actually have a monastery up, so he's not going to be able to have a trickle of gold income from that. Conscription coming in now as well. From which castle? The castle under fire. I imagine conscription is going to complete by the time the castle goes down. This trebuchet being packed up. It's got less pierce armor when it's packed up though, Lix. I'm not sure whether you want to do that. Is he going to be able to keep it alive? No, he's not. So BacT managing to snipe off 1 trebuchet there. But still, Lix has got 4 trebs firing upon 1 castle, and BacT has absolutely no trebuchets out at all. So Lix is in such a nice position as padded archer armor finally, absolutely freaking finally comes in for BacT here, but back under fire of another mangonel shot, another huge mangonel shot, and plumed archers here with leather archer armor having been done for Lix. Lix is going to be able to push right into the heart of BacT's economy here, backed up with these 4 trebuchets and 2 mangonels, and he is looking in a very, very nice position as BacT does build another castle further toward the back of his base. A lot more of a defensive position here and getting housed, obviously having lost all the 2 castles at the front of his base. But Lix now switching his attention, and is he going to start going for this castle out here toward the left-hand side of BacT's economy, or is he going to start firing upon the town centre? Well, it looks like it's the town centre that's going to go down, and why the heck not? That gold there out the front of BacT's base is definitely not going to be able to be taken. That is almost certainly locked down by Lix. So if Lix can starve BacT of this gold out here to the left-hand side of his economy, then Lix is going to be in such a nice position as he pushes forward with another castle. So that's going to make it 3 castles for Lix, 2 castles for BacT. So Lix still managing to pull ahead in terms of the army military production buildings, I guess you could say. And now if these plumed archers just go down to a couple of huge mangonel shots here from Lix, then BacT is going to be in such a hard situation to be able to come back from this. He's going to have absolutely no gold income, and I feel like just going full trash or full scarams is not really going to be the way to pull yourself back. But we can see Elite Plumed Archer and Chemistry coming in here now as well, just to provide even more firepower to this army that Lix is fielding at the moment. The trebuchets firing upon the second to last castle from BacT, and that castle's down. There was no way that castle was going to stay up. BacT's got 1 measly trebuchet out here. Chemistry already having been done for him with ballistics on the way. This trebuchet is going to go down pretty quick smart as well, to 4 trebuchets firing upon it. Capped Ram having been researched for BacT, so he's going to be in a nice position to maybe push forward with rams. Maybe he's going to try and go for a ram push. That is normally what we see in Mayan Wars, right? Just plumed archers, trebs, and siege rams for days. But 2 castles to 1, 3 castles now, 3 castles to 1 in favor of Lix. So the elite plumed archers as well, completely outmatching. Actually, in saying that, BacT has now got elite plumed archer as well, with ballistics and thumb ring coming in, ring archer armor coming in for Lix. But all these villages, this is funeral time for the villagers out here to the left-hand side of BacT's economy. No way were they going to be able to survive that, but BacT scouting has allowing him to take some gold out here to the western flank of the map. So unless Lix spots that or has the forward knowledge and the know-how and the smarts to be able to scout that out, BacT is at least going to be able to take some gold and continue trying to defend against this huge push that's coming in now from Lix. Throwing up a couple of archer ranges inside of his economy is BacT, just to try and be able to get out some skirmishes, just to get some sort of army out here. Maybe he's doing that for oh no, I think he did research. Yeah, he just researched Thumb Ring, so it looks like he's going to be doing that, and just to try and get some sort of an army here. BacT managing to pick off a couple of plumed archers inside of his base here from Lix. But now there seems to be like there's a little bit of a lull in the action. The trebuchet is now having just moved forward from Lix, going to start firing upon this town center, or maybe the siege workshop, I would imagine. Lix selling a lot of food, trying to get that extra gold. Obviously you don't really need food as the Mayans as well, and that's only going to make it even harder for BacT to get efficient trades at the market, should he use that to try and get some gold. But we have 4 mangonels now firing upon this barracks for whatever reason. Firing upon this barracks from BacT is Lix, a town centre, coming up on this gold pile of BacT out here on the western side of his map. Just kept rams just buzzing around inside of BacT's economy, with another siege workshop being thrown up, as well as another archery range from BacT inside of his eco. But oh my goodness, elite skirmisher coming in. It's going to be a very, very hard uphill battle here for BacT. He's going to be forced, or he is forced, into a completely and utterly defensive position. The military numbers not heavily in favour of Lix at the moment, but definitely in favour of him. In fact, I would say 16 is actually quite heavily in favour of him, especially since he does have more offensive units here. He's got mangonels, he's got trebuchets, whereas BacT has only got not even siege ram. Siege ram is incoming now as well, but only capped ram here, which the mangonels can take down more or less comfortably than the elite plumed archers that are firing upon them. But obviously mangonels do not offer too much resistance to elite plumed archers and a good chunk, or a good amount, of elite skirmishers. But now the siege rams starting to push, capped rams now starting to push forward from BacT. But with only 3 of them, and with this amount of elite plumed archers and a mangonel firing in behind it, Lix is going to be in a good position to be able to push back those capped rams. And siege ram nearly having been done for BacT. more siege workshops coming up at the front of his economy. It looks like he might just be banking everything he's got into a siege ramp push just to see if he can start pushing back this forward aggression that Lix is now pushing in with. They're the same 4 trebuchets. Yeah, the same 4 trebuchets from Lix. Sort of not really doing too much at the moment. They could definitely be put to better use. Maybe taking down these siege workshops at the front of BacT's economy, or something along those lines. BacT building up toward the back of his base, and he's still in an okay position. He's only 3,000 score in the deficit. He does have the economic advantage in terms of villages. It's just the military and the map control that he's lacking at the moment. Obviously, he is being pushed off his main gold at the front of his base, which, to be fair, is not too much of an issue considering he has managed to take control with town centers out here to the left-hand side of the map, a couple of extra gold piles, and this is a really nice move from him. BacT is pushing in with siege rams and managing to take down one trebuchet. Mangonels from Lix firing upon the siege rams here from BacT, and the elite plumed archers from Lix were definitely out of position there. Another forward siege workshop coming up from Lix, making it a total of 3, I believe. 3 castles to 1 still, so the elite plumed archer numbers definitely going to be in favor of Lix. But the siege ram, there was a nice attempt at a siege ram push here from BacT, managing to snipe off one trebuchet. But obviously with 3 castles this close to the main battleground, reinforcing your army numbers and your military is not going to be too difficult for Lix to do. And a bit of a scuffle coming in here from BacT, between BacT and Lix. If Lix can get some huge shots on these elite skirmishes, which he is doing, and he's getting some big shots on the plumed archers here from BacT as well. Like I said, Lix's mangonel shots today have just been so devastating and so good for him. Cat Ram having been researched now as well, he'll be wanting to save up for siege ram, which he can nearly get in any moment now. So he should be in a really nice position. If he's got siege rams to back all this up and use them to take down the siege rams of BacT and tank the arrow fire here from the skirmishes, or from the elite skirmishes rather, and the anti-plumed archers that BacT still has buzzing around, which I don't actually think he has many at all, then Lix is going to be in such a strong position. The siege rams from BacT now surging forward, and obviously they're going to be fantastic at tanking the arrow fire from the elite plumed archers and any castles that are going to fire upon them, but backed up by these mangonels here. Being fired upon rather from these mangonels here by Lix is going to make it a little bit more difficult for BacT to be able to push in. But in saying that, siege ram's still just so tanky. We can see that they're still not managing to do a heck of a lot. A couple of plumed archers having been hidden inside the siege rams there from BacT, still continuing to push forward with siege rams and elite skirmishes, but it's not the best army composition, and as soon as siege rams start flooding out now as well from Lix, that is, as they are now, then BacT is going to find himself back at square one in terms of trying to be able to push this forward aggression here back from Lix. Lix's army fighting not the best fight in the world. He could take down the siege ram here from BacT with siege rams of his own, but he is losing quite a bit of his army out here on the front lines, and he's realised now as well that's not a cost-efficient fight that you want to take. It doesn't matter how cheap plumed archers are; they still cost gold, and if you're losing a hand or more than a handful, a huge chunk of them to just elite skirmishes from BacT, then that's not a position you want to be in. But Lix is managing to get some nice raiding out here toward the left-hand side of the map here as well. Looks like all this gold income now from BacT is going to be completely idle, and obviously he's still got a little bit of a bank of gold, but that's still going to be really nasty for him as siege rams now come in for BacT as well. Throwing up a siege workshop. BacT is out here on the left hand side as well as Lix. It looks like it's going to be a siege ram push from both of these players out here to the left hand side, returning back to the main action at the front of BacT's base. It's the same thing, it's just elite plumed archers from Lix and elite skirmishes here from BacT. Obviously only one castle for BacT means that his elite plumed archer numbers are going to be significantly lower than Lix's at the moment. But BacT doing the right thing and getting more elite skirmishes out here toward the left hand side of his base, or map rather, just to try and be able to clear up this sort of raiding on his only source of gold income at the moment, because I believe he still does not have a monastery. Oh, I stand corrected. He has one monastery with one relic, whereas Lix has one monastery with 3 relics, so he's going to be in a really nice position, Lix that is, the longer this game goes on in terms of gold income, whereas BacT is now starting to push forward again out toward the front of his base. Siege rams coming in, backed up with the elite skirmishes, and Lix doesn't look like he actually has too much momentum to be able to push this back. BacT for the time being does seem to have stabilized. I guess that's because Lix is focusing most of, or some part of his attention out here toward the left-hand side of the map. Both of these town centers look like they're going to be going down quick smart. No, it looks like that siege ramp's going to go down just in time for BacT out here on the front of the map as well, or the front of BacT's map, that is. He is managing to start pushing this back. Could this be a comeback? He's managing to grab control of this front gold here as well at the front of his base. This could be a huge monumental comeback for BacT. Obviously, Lix's attention just having been maybe a little bit too diverted out here toward the western side of the map, not managing to completely clear out the sea of red that we can see here on the mini-map. And BacT now actually looking like he's going to do a bit of a cheeky side flank, a bit of a cheeky side swipe maneuver out here to the western side of Lix's economy on these stone walls. A siege ram, a couple of siege rams now coming in for BacT to try and push into Lix's economy. And now, all of a sudden, it's looking really, really good for BacT. What on earth has happened? The elite skirmish is now just doing so much work for BacT. So I guess Lix is like, hey, if they're working quite well for BacT, why don't I try them out as well? So elite skirmish is now coming in for Lix, as well as elite skirmisher raiding out here toward this very, very exposed woodline here from BacT. On Lix's exposed woodline, that is another archery range coming up now as well, out here toward the western side of the map. And all of a sudden, it looks like there's starting to be quite a lot of red showing up in the map. One castle going down for Lix. Lix not having any villages in the vicinity to try and repair it. Obviously, he can't get close to these trebuchets here from BacT because there's just too much trash in the way. There's just too many elite skirmishers and too many, well, not too many plumed archers, but there's still plumed archers. There's just too much army from BacT in the way for Lix to be able to get there. And all of Lix's elite plumed archers are out here trying to battle away these pesky elite skirmishers that are starting to whittle away at his wood income out here toward the western side of his map. And BacT, now having managed to punch a hole into Lix's economy with a couple of villages here, what is he going to be doing? Is he going to be going for a siege workshop? No, he's going to be going for barracks. Barracks could have been a misclick, or maybe we're going to see some Eagle Warrior raiding inside of Lix's economy. So it's looking, all of a sudden, precariously bad for Lix. This is absolutely huge. What a comeback for BacT. He's focusing down the castles now from Lix. Obviously, Lix's main constituent of his army is plumed archers. We saw that there were we saw siege workshops, and we did see some archery ranges and elite skirmishers having been produced from Lix. But at the moment, Lix was sort of banking on the fact that he could, just hold this forward aggression here, or hold this forward area of his base and BacT's base with castles. And now that those castles are going down with the trebuchets from BacT also moving forward, Lix is going to be in a really, really bad or really difficult situation, especially if BacT does manage to push down into Lix's economy right through the front of his economy here, just to meet up with this aggression from the flanks, or from the western flank of Lix's economy here. It's going to be so difficult pushing downhill. That hill bonus is going to be absolutely huge for BacT. BacT grabbing hoardings now as well. Bit of extra buff to his buildings never goes amiss. What's going on out here toward the left-hand side? Well, this is what has happened. BacT has managed to pull all of Lix's attention away from the front lines to try and deal with all this sort of this counter raids, I guess you could say, from BacT out here on the left hand side. And now BacT is managing to spearhead an absolutely huge push through the center of the map, and Lix has got nothing. Lix can't push this back. He's only got elite skirmishers against siege rams, and also elite skirmishers from BacT. This is going to be so difficult for Lix to do. The numbers, military numbers, so heavily in favor of BacT now. It is absolutely ridiculous. The economy, BacT has managed to keep his economy pumping and rolling this whole time as well. And all of a sudden, it's looking like it could be GG for Lix. There's just too much army here. Trebuchet is now coming forward as well for BacT, and if BacT takes control of this hill, then it definitely is GG for Lix. There is no way that Lix is going to be able to push back up this hill if he couldn't manage to push it down this hill into BacT's economy. And now that BacT's got control of his main gold. Remember, BacT had been playing this whole game essentially without access to his main gold, whereas Lix had his main gold and second and third golds pretty much under lock and key. So BacT has just played a phenomenally strong game here. 3 trebuchets now firing upon firing upon the archery ranges here from Lix. Obviously, the archery ranges are all that Lix is able to put forward to be able to pump out any sort of army. But if they get whittled down, then there's nothing, absolutely nothing that Lix can do, and it's not looking good for Lix. BacT, have you just pulled a complete comeback out of your backside? I think he might have. It doesn't look like Lix has got any answer to this. He's got raiding coming in inside of his economy as well, and he's having to deal with this huge push, this huge trash aggression mixed in with siege rams at the front of his base. And there we have it. Oh my god. Lix has managed to, not Lix, BacT has managed to pull that game back from what looked like the brink of defeat. From the jaws of defeat, BacT has managed to pull that game back. And what a game. What a game. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. And obviously, I think the turning point there would have been when BacT forced all of Lix's military to come over here and try and deal with this sort of semi-base, that secondary base that BacT had set up over here to the western flank, and it just allowed BacT to just push through the center, and his momentum just carried him through. Oh my goodness, such a clever game, such a well-defended game from BacT. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. So that, I believe, makes it, I think it's 4-2 now, this best of 11 series, right? Goodness gracious me. Okay, well, after that fantastic game, I'm going to take a bit of a breather, and I'll see you guys in Game 7.